The national Christmas tree in Washington, D.C. represents our economy and what this administration has done to it, basically propping it up to the point where winds can just take it down, just like that.
White House's 40-foot national Christmas tree took a little bit of a tumble on Tuesday after strong winds toppled it down just 2 days before that annual tree lighting ceremony with President Biden. And some conservatives on social media say this was a perfect metaphor for the current administration.
Others believe this political cartoon says it all. It shows Bidenomics dragging down the U.S. economy and Joe Biden admitting, I killed it. Fox News contributor and columnist for The Messenger, Joe Concha, joins us now. Whoa, hey, don't knock it over, Joe. Keep it upright. As for the tree in Biden's house, quite the metaphor. I think Republicans were right with that.
I asked Alexa last night, what is the definition of symbolism? Because here we have a president literally falling down just like that massive Christmas tree.
Insults aside, because obviously Fox can be a little bit brutal on the president, but are they right? Does this represent what Bidenomics has done to our economy? Wait, what am I doing? I have the best community right here. Can you guys answer that? So folks, do you feel as if this is a good metaphor for the effects of the president's economic plan to our lives? Comment a quick yes or no on that one. And while you guys are down there, go ahead and hit the like button for the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate that, guys. So it sure seems like the United States, our beloved home and country, has certainly changed in a very short span of time. I think change would be probably the best term to use without stating the obvious. You see, Americans are struggling, and these strong winds, well, there are medical emergencies, there are expenses, there are gas, there are groceries, and with each strong wind slamming on the millions of households every single day, it's not unheard of for some trees, or in this case households, to fall down due to the pressure. And to be honest, guys, it's not just our finances that are being affected. We're also seeing how all of these things are affecting people both emotionally and mentally. Just recently, the CDC confirmed that the rate at which Americans are, giving up on life, basically they're signing off permanently. Now, I have to be careful with what I say here on YouTube, but I think you guys understand what I'm saying. So that rate is now at the highest level it's been in like 80 years now. Now, we're also seeing drug overdoses at an alarming rate, with some of these drugs getting through you know where. But maybe that's too harsh.
Well, this is a scary drug. It's been showing up in big cities and spreading nationwide, but now it's made its way to Monterey County.
Xylazine, nicknamed Trank or the zombie drug. It's actually a horse tranquilizer, but is now being used on the street. The latest in a seemingly endless stream of drugs killing people at an alarming rate.
We do know that it's being mixed in with other drugs, fentanyl, it's being mixed in with cocaine, heroin.
The side effects are gruesome, causing painful ulcers on the skin that can sometimes even lead to amputations.
When you inject it directly, it does cause a condition known as necrosis, which is usually when the tissue starts deteriorating.
The governor wants to crack down hard on traffickers with new legislation, increasing criminal penalties, trying to get ahead of the problem before it becomes another epidemic. He says in part, quote, Trank poses a unique and devastating challenge in our fight against the overdose epidemic. Although California is not yet seeing Trank at the same rates as other parts of the country, this legislation will help the state stay ahead and curb dealers and traffickers. Even though it's not as prevalent in California as it is in other states, recovery experts say it's just a matter of time, and we do know that it's already here in Monterey County.
There's been people that have been going to the emergency room and hospitalized because they get an overdose and they're under the influence of this drug. It's definitely an eye-opener, especially for our young people here in the community.
The crackdown on dealers is part of the governor's $1 billion master plan to tackle the growing drug crisis. Local specialists say it's a step in the right direction.
Hopefully does divert the rise of the overdoses that have been going on. And I know that it's also part of a bigger plan. So hopefully, this is just the first step.
Maybe the president is actually doing the best that he can, even when he's on vacation, right? However, and I hate being the bearer of bad news, workers in the country aren't too pleased with what's happening in our economy, especially with companies cutting costs wherever they can due to inflation just being a pain in our you-know-what. Of course, I can't say exactly what's on my mind right now, but you know what I mean.
The analysts I spoke with say these companies are simply evaluating their bottom lines, and the job cuts that they are having right now are simply to shore up their companies and to make sure that they are still making their profits.
The data that's come out has shown that the tech industry has been laying off people really pretty aggressively
Google, Amazon, Snap, and Zillow say they're making more cuts to their workforce. Neither Google nor Amazon disclosed how many jobs were being cut this time. Tech reporter and analyst Ian Scher says the cuts are most likely continuing fallout from the pandemic.
The way the economy has worked has shifted a lot over those last 4 years. We've seen inflation come up. Now we've seen it start going down. We've seen interest rates going up, all of these types of things. So it is somewhat part of the natural cycle to see layoffs in some companies.
Now, it's not just layoffs, okay? We're also seeing companies cutting employee perks or worker benefits just to try and offset how inflation is affecting their bottom line. This analysis came in from Glassdoor, and they're saying, get this, that a growing number of employees are now losing access to 401k retirement plans, dental insurance, vision insurance, tuition assistance, and other benefits just within 2023. You see, that's like a normal thing nowadays. You're not going to see companies cutting wages, at least not yet, but instead they're going to focus on stuff that won't be questioned as much as lowering wages. But I mean, it's not like some wages are keeping up with how hot inflation has been right now, right? 2024, though, might be a completely different conversation altogether. I'm guessing that benefits for then will be much smaller for many different companies, considering how we're chugging along in 2023. And I think it's probably pretty fair to ask, how do you feel about all this, guys? Because if you ask JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, well, he says that the lower third of earners in our country should be nothing short of pissed off about their status in today's economy. He also says that the country, he's not saying this administration, okay, but that the country has done a terrible job of taking care of those at the bottom. Although he kind of did confirm it was this government, given that he blamed the sugar high that we experienced in recent years. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The trillions of dollars that was just pumped into the system like nobody's business. I mean, that boosted the economy for a hot minute, but that was it. Party's over. And well, not many of us are partying anymore. And yes, I do see the irony in having a billionaire talk about the economy and how the little guy is struggling, but he makes some sense, even though I'm pretty sure he welcomed a lot of that stimulus money into his bank. Completely different from what Elon Musk is doing with X, formerly known as Twitter. You see, Elon Musk, he took a trip to Israel amidst alleged anti-Semitism posts on the social media platform. And well, when he was asked about advertisers pulling their money from X, he wasn't very opposed to the idea. In fact, it just literally pissed him off.
What was that trip like? And obviously, you know that there's a public perception that, and you're clarifying this now, but there's a public perception that that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself.
But
go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is.
Well, this is going to be a meme for sure, but yeah, that actually happened. It's obvious that Elon Musk doesn't really care about money as much, but that was interesting to say the least. But what are your thoughts on today's updates? Make sure you let me know down in the comments below. And I just want to thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for liking the video, and I'll see you on the next one.